Hello, everyone. This is Bob from the Scalability team and Eric from the Verified Testing team. We're going to be talking about how to work with the group dashboards that we've just built. Eric added some metrics regarding the artifact parsers that their team is using to gather data on the test suite and so on. And now we want to add these metrics to the testing dashboard. This screen here is what the testing dashboard currently looks like. As you can see, there's some panels for Rails requests, error rates, the same for Sidekick jobs here, SQL latency per query, and we can also see there's a lot of empty panels. We can remove these panels since the testing team is a relatively young team. There's not a lot that's happening on the Git fleet or the API fleet, and everything is all in Sidekick and the web fleet. To modify the dashboard, there's a handy link here at the bottom that links to it in the runbooks repository. So let's click that. And right now, as you can see, it's quite limited, but that's the file to get started with. I've already got this cloned right here. So let me open that file. There it is. So to work with this, there's in the runbooks repository, this all lives in the dashboards folder. There's an extensive README that helps you set up the tooling to start contributing to the dashboards, the things that you'll need to install. Mainly that's going to be JSONet, which is like a JSON generator language. Yeah, that's all documented here. You also need the Grafana API token that's stored inside 1Password. I'm not going to show it here. But once you've got that all set up, there's a bunch of scripts that help you contribute to the dashboard. So we'll start by loading the Grafana API token inside our environment. Trust me, it's in there. I'm not going to show it. And then we can do test dashboard, including path to the dashboard that we're going to be working with. And that's located as this one. And that's going to spit out a URL to a snapshot of the dashboard what it currently looks like. So if we open that, we get a copy of the dashboard we just saw. This snapshot is going to live for a limited time, like CI cleans it up for us. So generate as many as you like. It's also handy for a reviewer later if you link it from the merge request description, because that way they can see what's going on. So let's make a change here. Yeah, there we go. So let's start by getting rid of this introduction thing. And this we can do like this, small change. If we now run that script again, we get a new, and it's gone. So what we can also do now is remove the panels that are empty. I don't know exactly how that's done, but we can see here the helpers live in this file. So let's look at that. This one, and then we can see how to pass. The method is .dashboard. Components we can pass. So something's barking at me all the time. I don't know what that is. The components allowed are, well, I think that it's going to tell us when we generate, but we only want to show web and Sidekick. So we're going to go web and Sidekick. That's what we can pass in an array. And now let's regenerate, get another snapshot. There, the dashboard looks much cleaner. We only show the web request rates, error rates, and the Sidekick rates here. So now we also want to add the new metrics that Eric prepared for us. No, let's first maybe commit this separately. There we go. Next up, let's have a look at the metrics that are already there. Eric, are you somewhat comfortable with the tunnels and showing us the metrics you've added, or should I?
I'm not yet still getting used to and learning around querying panels, so I'm not that confident yet.
Okay, so I'll take it, but you'll have to help me with the metric names and the parser names and stuff like that because I don't know them. But you've added a histogram that is this one.
Yep.
But let's start with the count to see, because a count is going to have a lower cardinality because it doesn't have buckets, so we can see what kind of labels are on the metrics and so on. So here we can, yeah, that's all of that. The things that I know by heart are the environment we're interested in is going to be production. As you can see on the dashboards, we have a selector on top, so those things are configurable. But now, to just play around with the metrics, we're going to look at production, and we're going to look at main stage, which excludes canary. What else is there? Yeah, so that's a counter. So we're going to take a rate over, let's say, an hour, and we're going to sum that by parser. Is that the label name?
Yep, the parser, yes.
There we go. And there we can see which parsers are being used. Looks like the JUnit parser stands out. That's in the amount of parsing, like the amount of time the parser ran. Yeah, the rest are much lower. Okay, so yes,
question.
Shoot.
So count, how is count different from sum? Because we have sum, right? Second sum.
Yes.
So I thought initially I thought count is like the number of samples, and then sum is like the total duration.
In this case, so a histogram generates a few metrics. Like let's look at it through the autocomplete. If we take CI import parser duration, you see here that we have the seconds sum, the seconds count, and the seconds bucket. The second bucket is going to include the LE label, and that's all of the buckets that you've defined on the histogram in the code. duration seconds count is every time that metric got recorded, that counter will go up. And the CI parser duration second sum is going to be the sum of all durations. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah.
So the thing that we're looking at here now is the rate is going to show us how many parsers ran per second over the last hour.
Makes sense.
But what we're going to be more I think what we're going to be more interested in is the duration of those parsers. So that's why you added a histogram. So if we take the histogram quantile, let's look at the 50% percentile of take the entire thing. Duration seconds bucket. Now we need the sum by parser and LE. That's the bucket I was just talking about. That's the label I was just talking about. That is actually the bucket. Yeah, of the duration. So let's have a look. I think we might have forgotten something. I know this is the 50th percentile. So yeah, this cobertura parser is apparently the slowest.
Yeah.
What is generally also interesting to look at is the 95th percentile. I'm bringing this up because I already saw that this, I think we need to have a rate in there. Yeah, because we can see the cobertura parser here hits the ceiling. I think that's the highest bucket we put in there.
Yeah.
And this one, the dust one also, but that's, I think, the secure group owns that parser.
But it doesn't show anything above uh, the last bucket. So it doesn't include like the plus infinity.
It will, but that's going to be the ceiling. So if we look at the bucket and we'll leave in the label. So let's look at one parser. That's the where is it? Here up. Like that. What else do I need to add here? We want
Is it required to do to filter by both ENV and environment? What's the difference between those two? Like,
we're transitioning from ENV to environment, but specifying the labels sometimes speeds things up in tunnels. So if you actually, I would recommend to only specify one, but right now, like I specify both because it might make things go faster. For this metric, because it doesn't have super high cardinality, I think it would be fine. But yeah, it's kind of a habit. It's a good question though. So like if we look at this, what this metric looks like this. What's wrong? Unclosed. Then we see that there's, let's maybe leave out the rate, and then we can see how many parsers ran and ended up in the infinity bucket. So as we can see, these are all unknown. So that would, like, I'm looking at the spread and it's quite good. We just need some more high. I'm going to leave that up to you, but as I mentioned on the merge request, we kind of want to, like, the cardinality grows quite a lot if you add buckets to the histogram, because it's a number of labels times number of buckets. So we're mostly going to be interested in the parsers that run too slow. So I would perhaps keep the 5 bucket and then add a few above that. But as we could see on the graph before, the difference is quite hot. Like there's a big difference between the parsers. So perhaps we would need to specify different buckets for different parsers. But let's start with what we have. Here we're looking at the wrong one here. I meant this is quite a big difference between the parsers. Okay, so now we want to show this on the testing panel, on the testing dashboard. So let's go there. Everything you want to add to your dashboard, you basically chain to this dashboard method call. I'm not super comfortable with JSONet. I always need to like Google documentation and whatnot, or look at other dashboards. And I know Jagosh has been adding time series to the CI dashboard, so I'm going to open that one. Next to this, so yeah, that makes it easier. So yeah, and we're going to add panels, and we're going to add them in a grid. For that, so there's a library that we're using called Graphonet, and that includes all the helpers that you're seeing here that allow us to specify text panels, time series, that kind of stuff. So let's copy these imports. We're going to need layout. We're going to need basic. What did I do here? So we're going to add a new grid. No, we're going to add a little title first. I'm copying this from below. That's going to be easier. That's a little bit more specific. And then we need a grid. And we're going to be adding a time series. Hold on a second. Let's create an array of the metrics of the parsers that testing is interested in. Which are those? Eric, which parsers? That's
the
great.
cobertura.
Let's switch here so it's easy to copy.
Test JUnit.
This one.
Test J. The JUnit 1.
There it is.
And the Pali.
Pali. Anything more? I think that's it.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay. And then we can also make. I will do that later. So the time series we're going to add is I'm just going to look at the stage group dashboards to see if there's maybe a trick for histogram already. Oh, let's test. Looking at, I thought that we already, they are recorded metrics. Yeah, they're all recorded. So the metrics that are recorded like that are basically, there's some recording rules in Tanos that make these things faster to query and easier to store. Okay, so let's just start ourselves then. Where was the example that we were basing this on? Here. Do we want to have, do we need rates as well? Like how many parsers run per second over an interval, or is that not that important?
I'm thinking it may help. I guess.
Let's add it. It's easy to remove if it's not interesting later. So let's start with that. The description. And then the query. So some What was that metric called again?
CI report parser.
Count, like that. I think it was count on the end, no? Yeah. And then we want, so for them, we want to have the environment. Now we want to set the environment, the stage, and so on to what is selected, and Grafana provides us with these global variables for that. Environment, stage. The same goes for the interval that's also specified in the by Grafana. Here, and you have to sum by parser. For now, we're not going to filter the parsers you're interested in yet, because then I need to read the JSON the documentation, because the join function, I don't know by heart what it looks like. So let's start with that and see if we can generate that dashboard. What did we miss here? Edit. No. So now we should see our new panel at the bottom, but our time series isn't there. So something's still off. I think I might have forgotten. What's going wrong here? Why is it missing? Do you see an obvious error? I'm probably looking over it. The legend and so on we can add later. This one correctly closed, yeah. Huh. We need to specify the row and the columns to the add panels method. For now, columns is 1, but we're going to have 2 if we add the histogram as well. The start row allows you to fit panels above other panels. So if you wanted to have this panel above, for example, the Rails metric, we would need to look inside the dashboard method and see what start row we have there. But for now, let's add it on the bottom. Nope, still not. What am I missing? Oh, I didn't save. Perhaps. There we are. Now the query is still erroring out. Let's see. Unclose left parentheses. Those are easy. Rates closed, sum isn't closed. There we go. Now we should see, hopefully, the parser rates. Yes, we do. And now let's filter out only the parsers that we're interested in. I'm going to build a now I need to Google the standard library for the join function because I don't know. And the separator and then the array. Now we can add that label as a filter. That string interpolation, if I remember correctly. Voila. Parsers selector. Let's be consistent in the names. Something's wrong. Yeah, we didn't specify that we want to match. Forgot to wrap that in a string. And there we go. Now we only have the parsers that we're interested in. I see we're already past the hour. So I would suggest maybe I'll finish up adding the histogram as well and then assign it to you for review as a first review. And then I'll chat with some of my team members to take the second review. Is there anything else that like you have questions about or that you want me to add to the dashboard while I'm at it?
I think in addition of the parser rate, uh, the duration basically.
Yeah, the duration is what I'm going to add next. But I see that we're already like in here for 40 minutes. So I would maybe do it offline because right now it's more like just watching me type queries. So yeah.
Everything looks good. Learned a lot.
Okay. If there's any more questions that you might have or that anybody watching this video might have, feel free to reach out to us in the Scalability channel or in our issue tracker as always. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.